Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mini Books Podcast with your host, Gloria and Rogan. And today we are excited to dive into Special Book with You. We picked this one because it has really important lessons to share, and we can't wait to talk about them. So let's get started.
Ever catch yourself, daydreaming about that better life? The one everyone always says is possible. Well, today we're diving deep into the American dream. But, and here's the catch, we're ditching the commercials, the slogans, all that.
Yeah, forget the stock photos. We're going for something way more real, more insightful.
We're talking about real stories from a book called Believing That You Can.
It's a collection of essays, all from Floridian adult learners, each sharing their journey,
And it's not some stuffy textbook, let me tell you. These are raw, honest, like straight from the heart accounts of what it really means to chase the dream right here in America. And we're talking immigrants, refugees, folks born and raised right here in the Sunshine State.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's not just someone talking about the American dream, it's hearing about it firsthand.
Exactly. You get to see the complexities, contradictions,
Yeah.
and how differently it hits everyone.
Right.
And it's different for everyone.
Okay, so picture this. You open the book, and just the table of contents grabs you.
Oh, yeah.
Sections on education, cultural clashes, turning points. Heck, there's even original poetry.
Wow, they really went there.
It's like they're wearing their hearts on their sleeves,
Putting it all out there.
Exactly. So to kick things off, let's talk about Astrid. Her essay really got to me. She writes about her parents back in Colombia, their work ethic, how much they cherish the simple things, how much family means to them.
The foundation.
Yeah. It really made me think about the core of what we often consider like the classic American dream, Absolutely. It's like that hard work, that dedication to family, that striving for something better. It's woven into America's story.
100%. But here's where this book gets really interesting. It takes those familiar threads of the American dream and then, bam, shows how they're being rewoven, reinterpreted by each new generation, by each person's own experience.
Yeah, it's not static, it's constantly evolving.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Take Jennifer, for example. She's a Brazilian immigrant, and her story really hinges on her bond with her sister, Marley.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So after their mother passed away, Marley basically became a mother figure to Jennifer.
Wow.
And it was Marley who ultimately encouraged her to come to America, to chase her dreams. It makes you wonder, what does individual achievement even mean when these kinds of support systems are so crucial?
It makes you realize it's not always a solo journey, right?
Totally. And speaking of journeys, let's talk about Solo. Oh man, his story really stayed with me. Imagine being a kid and having to step up after your mom passes away.
It's a lot to handle at any age.
Right, but he didn't just step up for himself. He became a protector, helping his siblings escape an abusive situation with their aunt.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking but inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
That highlights a side of the American dream we don't always acknowledge. That resilience, that compassion, just the sheer responsibility it takes just to get to that starting line. For some, it's not about achieving some grand vision. It's about surviving long enough to even dare to dream.
It makes you realize how much we take for granted sometimes.
Right. His story made me realize that for some, the American dream isn't about a big house or a fancy car. It's about basic safety, protecting your family.
Having the chance at a decent life.
Exactly.
It makes you think about how much it takes to even get a chance,
And that desire for something better, that chance, it often leads to, education.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like that saying, knowledge is power.
Right.
And you see that a lot with these learners. Education is the key to opening up a different future. Take Chris Estrella, for instance. He's very open about his struggles.
Yeah. What happened?
He struggled in school, dropped out, even had to deal with a learning disability. Tough stuff. And here's the thing about Chris's story. He doesn't let any of that define him.
Really inspiring.
He's totally set on getting his GED. Wants to build a better life. For himself, his kids, everyone.
It makes you think about what that even means. A better life. What does that look like for Chris?
Right. Is it about money? Or is there something more to it?
I mean, he doesn't really come out and say it.
True.
But you get the sense that it's bigger than just, financial security.
Totally.
It's about, breaking the cycle,
Yeah.
Proving something to himself, his kids, that anything's possible. That dignity and drive that comes with learning and bettering yourself.
And it made me realize, reading these stories, that education, it's not just about degrees and diplomas.
Oh, absolutely not. It's so much more than that.
Right. Like, take Carlos. He shares his experience moving from Mexico and experiencing the reality,
Yeah.
the American dream, warts and all.
What was he surprised by?
He was blown away by things we just, expect. Sales tax, for example.
Oh, wow.
Imagine being totally caught off guard by that extra cost on everything.
You never even thought about that.
It's like learning this whole new set of rules, a new way of navigating life here.
It's like learning a new language almost, right? All the unspoken things.
Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. If you're enjoying this podcast, then don't forget to check out our official YouTube channel, Mini Books Podcast, and subscribe for more great podcasts like this one.
And for Carlos, that in itself is education.
It totally is. And let's not forget about the emotional side of things, right? Navigating cultural differences. It takes serious strength.
Oh, for sure.
Take Jean's story, for instance. She's here in the U.S., building a new life, but she misses her daughter back in Haiti. That longing doesn't just disappear.
It's like this bittersweet side of the American dream.
Exactly.
Sacrifices, tough choices. It's like this constant pull between chasing opportunity and staying connected to your roots.
And that push and pull, that feeling of being torn, that's something a lot of immigrants deal with. Reminds us that the American dream isn't always sunshine and rainbows, It can be lonely, full of uncertainty.
It's a journey, that's for sure. Speaking of journeys, there's a whole section about turning points.
Mm.
Those moments that change everything. Like Raul, remember his story?
Oh, yeah.
Escaping poverty in Mexico, risking it all to come here.
Talk about a turning point. Leaving everything you know behind, that takes guts. It shows the power of the American dream, that leap of faith.
And sometimes it's not about a big escape,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's quieter than that, more internal. Like Adriana's story, for instance.
Yeah, what about?
Becoming a mom. That was her turning point. It finally pushed her to chase her own dreams.
It's like that thing, right? Putting yourself last for so long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that there's no one right way to live the American dream. It's different for everyone. Full of surprises, detours, sometimes even U-turns.
Exactly. But the important thing is that you keep moving.
It's about figuring out what works for you, right? There's no one set path.
Exactly. And this book, it's like a reminder that it's okay to carve your own way.
And when you get to the part about goals, it's like you're peeking into their hopes and dreams.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
We're talking doctors, entrepreneurs, even just wanting to provide that stable, loving home they never had.
It's that universal dream.
It really drives home the point that the American dream, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's a whole tapestry of hopes and dreams.
And you see that hope, that fight woven throughout the whole book. But there's this one section, it's like they took all those feelings, the joy, the struggle, everything, and just let it all out.
Oh, you're talking about the poetry?
Yeah. It's raw emotion right there on the page.
Gave me chills, especially Lex's poem, the one about clawing your way back up when you hit rock bottom.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Powerful stuff. Finding that strength when you feel like you have nothing left.
It's like no matter what life throws at you.
You keep fighting.
Exactly. You find a way. It makes you think about those moments in your own life, the times you had to dig deep.
Totally. And it's interesting, you think about Alexa's story, and it's totally different from Salo's, but they both face these huge obstacles.
Different path, same strength.
Exactly. And it's not all serious either. I mean,
Yeah.
You've got Gabriella's poem about her pet macaw, Taylor.
Oh, man. I dare you to read that without smiling.
It's impossible. Pure joy.
It reminds you that even when things are tough.
There's still good in the world.
Exactly. Those simple joys, they matter. And that, to me, that's part of the American dream, too. It's not just about reaching some big finish line.
It's about enjoying the ride.
100%.
So as we wrap this up, it really makes you think about all the different experiences, from Astrid's family values to Salo's strength to Chris pursuing education to Gabriella finding peace with her macaw. It really makes you wonder, what does the American dream mean to you listening right now?
What's your story? What are you chasing? What challenges have you overcome? What dreams are still waiting to be discovered? Because at the end of the day, the American dream, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's about figuring out what a better life means to you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to dive into more book insights and key learnings, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Mini Books Podcast, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We're back every Sunday at 9 a.m. with new books and more to learn from. Until next time, take care, keep learning, and keep growing. Remember, This is Mini Books Podcast.